Hello ladies and gentlemen, CA-35 here bringing you another Minecraft World War II map to build tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and building USS Indianapolis, CA-35. USS Indianapolis was a Portland-class heavy cruiser of the United States Navy, named for the city of Indianapolis, Indiana. Launched in 1931, it was a flagship for the commander of the Scouting Force 1 for 8 years, then flagship for Admiral Raymond Spruance in 1943 and 1944 while he commanded the 5th Fleet in battles across the Central Pacific during World War II. In July 1945, Indianapolis completed a top-secret high-speed trip to deliver uranium and other components for Little Boy, the first nuclear weapon ever used in combat, to the Tinian Naval Base and subsequently departed for the Philippines on training duty. At 00:1500 hours on July 30th, the ship was torpedoed by Imperial Japanese Navy submarine I-58 and sank in 12 minutes. Of 1,195 crewmen aboard, approximately 300 went down with the ship. The remaining 890 faced exposure, dehydration, saltwater poisoning, and shark attacks while stranded in the open ocean with few lifeboats and almost no food or water. The Navy only learned of the sinking 4 days later when survivors were spotted by the crew of a PV-1 Ventura on a routine patrol. A U.S. Navy PBY seaplane crew landed to save those in the water, and only 316 survived. The sinking of Indianapolis resulted in the greatest loss of life at sea from a single ship in the history of the U.S. Navy. On August 19, 2017, a search team financed by Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen located the wreck in the Philippine Sea, lying at a depth of approximately 18,000 or 5,500 meters. On December 20th, 2018, the crew of the Indianapolis was collectively awarded a Congressional Gold Medal. So, really sad story when it comes down to the Indianapolis. She's very historic in the fact that she delivered the components for the, first nuclear bomb that was used in Hiroshima. But it was also really sad in the fact that she was torpedoed and the loss of life in it. Really sad story about the Indianapolis, and just kind of shows a little bit of the ineptitude of the United States Navy Command, especially when there's lots of evidence that suggests that the captain of the Indianapolis requested to have destroyer escorts, and all of this really could have been avoided if it had those proper escorts, since the Indianapolis did not have anti-submarine warfare capabilities located on it. So, again, really sad stuff, and it's good to see that the crew was at least honored those awards, posthumously, and then also, the captain, who was basically court-martialed for basically failing at his duties, was also, reinstated and given full military honors. So, really sad stuff, and a lot of kind of bad history around the Indianapolis, but I think it's still a ship that's very important and definitely needs to be the, peak ship here of our Portland class of heavy cruisers. The camouflage we have on this is done up in the color scheme it would have had when it was torpedoed and sank. So it's a very common measure used by the United States Navy during that time, where it has that kind of blue lower portion of the hull, and then the rest of it's just a gray color. So pretty standard color scheme for it. And with that, let's go ahead and dive in here and take a look at the Indianapolis. So starting off, we have the bow of the ship here. Really nothing too fancy, just some anti-aircraft guns, all that detail up there in the front. Nothing too crazy. We then have our turrets right here. Now these turrets are actually triple turrets, but unfortunately just due to the scale I wasn't able to fit 3 barrels, so you have to kind of use your imagination there and imagine there's 3 barrels closely put together, because these ones only have 2. Then we get to the superstructure here. Obviously your masts, all your gun control or fire directors and radars and all that kind of stuff located up in this section. Again, some anti-aircraft guns on the sides, some more detail here. You got your first funnel. This midship section is where the seaplane catapults would be, so if you wanted to have a seaplane on here, you definitely could. And we also have our crane there behind it. Then we have our second funnel, again, some more, anti-aircraft gun positions, stuff like that. This section here, we have our secondary batteries, so some, larger caliber cannons on the side there for your secondaries. We have basically the back here, again, your fire control directors and all that stuff. And then we get to the very back here where we have our rear turret, and that's really about it there for the Portland. So pretty cool stuff overall for it. Should make a cool addition to any of your worlds, especially for your United States Navy fleet, which we've been slowly adding some more and more ships to hopefully build it up and bolster it, considering that Our Japanese Navy is absolutely insane, and we don't have any American counterparts, which is kind of a shame. So that's what we've been working on, trying to get more of this built up. But with that, let's go ahead and dive into the tutorial by beginning with our first layer. Alright guys, so going ahead and getting started here with the USS Indianapolis, we'll be going ahead and building the ship in a layer by layer format. So that means we'll be going ahead and starting with our first layer and building each layer up. Makes the tutorial a little bit easier to follow and all that. With that, if you are planning on putting the ship in the water, which I imagine most of you guys are going to want to do, you will want to make sure you start layer 1 here at a certain depth in the water. Now you can see here I have the red concrete being set up here. This is where we're going to start for our hull of the ship. This right here is going to be the section that's going to be underwater. So what we have here is we basically have the blue concrete representing that water level, and that's where you're going to want your block to sit. So it's going to sit basically right there at that water level, not below it, not above it, and that's where we're going to start this ship. Now once we have that all clarified and good to go, we'll be going ahead and going off this block with another brick wall, a red nether brick wall, and then a red stained glass pane. We're going to take our red concrete and go back from this block. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31 red concrete blocks back. We're going to place down 2 red nether brick top slabs and then 2 red nether brick walls to go ahead and bring us to the rear there like that. We're also going to go ahead and place down a red nether brick upside down stair on both sides of this second to last red concrete block, and we're going to then go 2 lightning rods back with a birchwood slab. And same thing over here, 1, 2, and a birchwood slab. After that's all done, we're going to go ahead and take our red concrete, and we're going to build a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. I'm going to go and double check my count here, just make sure I got it right, and it is going to be 24 blocks. And we're going to do the same thing over here on this side as well. Bring it all the way to this point. Now after that's done, we're going to then place down our 2 red nether brick walls to both sides, our 2 red stained glass panes going forward from those walls, and that's going to finish off what we have for the sides of the bow. Now once that's done, we're going to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your 5th red concrete block back. We're going to place down a red stained glass pane to the side, and that's going to be 5 blocks back from the front, which is that way there. We're going to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 red stained glass panes. So in total here, going to be 16 glass panes. Then we're going to place down a row of 3 of the end rod, or the lightning rods like this, and then a birchwood slab. We're going to do the same thing over here. So birchwood slab, we have our 3 lightning rods, and then we're going to place down our 16 red stained glass panes along the side. So you're going to get a design that looks just like that. And once you have that all done, that's going to be pretty much it for this layer. Here is a top-down view of what that should look like. So just make sure everything is good to go and correct, because this is probably one of the most important layers, because everything we build off or build up from the ship is going to be built off this layer. Anyways though, that's going to wrap up this layer. Let's move on to layer number 2. Moving on to our next layer, we have layer 2. Now layer 2 here is where we're going to be going ahead and starting to get into our color scheme or our camouflage of the ship. Again, there are plenty of camouflages the US Navy used during World War II, so you're more than willing to change it to whatever camouflage you guys want. This here is going to be again representing the Indianapolis, how she looked on the day of her sinking. So that is why we have the camouflage we have here on it. So again, just keep that in mind. You can feel free to change it as much as you guys really want. With that though, let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to place down a polished blackstone upside down stair on top of this glass pane here, and we're going to go ahead and then build back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 of these blue terracotta blocks back. We're going to go then place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4 of your deep slate tiles blocks, and then we're going to place down 2 more blue terracotta blocks back and a polished blackstone wall on the very end. We're also going to place down a gray stained glass pane to both sides of this block here, and then 2 polished blackstone walls going forward from those glass panes. Once that's done, we're going to take our blue terracotta, and we're going to build a row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. I'm going to double check my count here since I did mess up the block placement a little bit, and it should be 28 blocks. So that's good to go there. And we're going to go to the other side here, and we're going to do the same thing. So you're just going to go and run this all the way forward, 28 blocks. Then taking our polished black stone walls, we're going to place down 2 walls like this on both sides, and we're going to place down another 2 gray stained glass panes on the side of those walls going forward. So it is going to look like that there. Now when it comes to the very side of the ship here, we're going to go ahead and go to our 4th blue terracotta block back, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to place down a gray stained glass pane to the side. We're going to go back from the gray stained glass pane 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. And over here on the other side, we're going to do the same thing. So again, 21 of your gray stained glass panes all the way along the side here. So just like that. Once that's all done there, that's going to wrap up everything we have for the sides of the ship there. And that is going to bring us to the end of layer number 2 here. Here again is a top-down view of what that should look like. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into layer number 3. Alright guys, so moving into our next layer, we move into layer 3. I do want to go ahead and apologize real quick because I forgot to turn off my shaders for the first 2 layers. I just realized that moving into layer 3 here, so I went ahead and turned off shaders and it'll be off for the rest of the tutorial, so hopefully it makes things a little bit easier to see. Fortunately though, I don't think there was any difficulties for the first few layers. It should have been pretty easy to still follow along, but shaders will be off for the rest of the tutorial, so I do apologize for that. With that though, let's go and dive in here to layer 3. So to start with, we're going to place down a stone block on top of this upside down stair, and then an upside down stair coming off that block. We're going to place down a second stone block back, 1, 2, 3 of these deep slate tile blocks, and then to the sides, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 light gray stained glass panes, 1, 2, 3 along the first 2 stone blocks in this first deep slate tile block. We're going to go then place down 2 andesite walls going back from those glass panes. And after we have that done, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, and 4 more deep slate tile blocks down the center here with stone blocks along the sides. So again, we have 4 stone blocks on the sides there. On those stone blocks, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 polished black stone buttons on the first 3 blocks. Then we want to place down another row of deep slate tile blocks down the center. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks back. And then a stone full block. Along the sides here, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stone blocks, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it should be actually 8 there. But basically, you just want it in line there with that stone block. We're going to go and then take our light gray stained glass panes. We're going to place down a row of 3 across here. Actually, sorry, a row of 5 across. And we're going to bring this all the way along the side here of the stone blocks till we get to the polished black stone buttons there. Same thing over here on this side as well. After that's all done, we're going to go and then place down a stone brick block. This could be like this to both sides here, and we're going to place down a gray carpet in the center. And then 2 rows of 3 of gray carpet across the center of the ship there. We then want to place down a row of 3 of stone, then a second row of 3, and then it's going to be followed with a third row. We're going to have light gray stained glass panes on the sides of those rows. Then we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 of our deep slate tile blocks going down the center, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 stone blocks along the side of those 4 blocks, and then a row of 3 of stone across this space here. Along the sides, we're going to place down another light gray stained glass pane, then we're going to place down a stone upside down stair, and then again 3 light gray stained glass panes back from that stone upside down stair. Same thing will be done over here on this side as well. Actually, let me fix that, and it should look like this. After that's all done, we then want to place down another 2 stone blocks down the center here, and we're going to go ahead and place down end rods on top of these glass panes. So 1, 2, 1, and we're going to go ahead and then place down 2 polished diorite top slabs down the center here, item frames underneath those slabs, and then we're going to place down gray stained glass panes in those item frames, just like that. Once that's all done there, that's going to wrap up what we have for that section, and to go ahead and continue on here, we're going to have our turret. So we're going to place down a stone upside down stair like this, a stone full block behind it, and then another stone stair. To the sides, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 gray carpet, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go ahead and take our birchwood fence gate. We're going to place down a fence gate like this, open it toward that stair, another fence gate, and again opened up toward that stair there. If you're on Java, we'll go ahead and also place down an item frame underneath this fence gate and a gray stained glass pane in that item frame, just like we did for those polished diorite top slabs, just to help keep that deck color a little bit more consistent. Then on the very back here, we're going to go ahead and just place down a daylight detector, turn it to that night mode. Make sure you close your trapdoor or open your trapdoor again if it does close, and make sure you replace the item frame if it does mess up as well. We're going to go ahead and place down a wither skeleton skull here at a slight angle on these 2 glass panes. And then lastly, for this layer, we're going to place down an iron bar, and then just one more up to go and finish off that little pole there on the back of the ship. With that all done, though, that's going to wrap up everything we have for layer number 3 of the build. So here's a top-down view of what that should look like. And with that, we'll be moving on to layer 4. So we're pretty much out of the woods for doing the hull, and we're going to be going ahead and jumping into doing the superstructure and all that stuff in the next layers. So with that, let's move on to layer number 4. Moving on to our next layer, we have layer number 4. For layer 4 to start with, we're going to place down 1 and 2 iron bars up on this first stair here. We're going to place down a gray carpet back from it, and then we're going to place down a red stone repeater and separate the notches from each other like so on this second stone block. Also, on this light gray stainless pane here, we do want to place down a item frame to both sides here, and in that item frame, we're going to place down a crossbow for the anchors, something I forgot to include in the previous layer, so let's go ahead and throw that on now. Once we get to this point, again, this is going to be more of a Java-oriented feature here, but we're going to place down 2 blocks, and we're going to place down levers off the side here of these blocks. We can go ahead and then type the command /give at pminecraft:/debug_sticks, that command there in the bottom left-hand corner. Press and enter will give you this glowing stick, which we can go ahead and take. We're going to left-click the levers till we get selected face. Should say wall. We're going to right-click this and set this to floor for each one, and then we're going to left-click these again till we get selected facing, and we're going to go ahead and rotate these around until they point out to the sides. And what we can do next is we can delete these blocks and place down an item frame on this glass pane here underneath those, and those are going to be these forward anti-aircraft guns on the bow of the ship. Now again, that's going to be only a Java feature. Unfortunately for Bedrock, you're not able to do that technique unless you're able to place down levers and on top of glass panes or walls already, but unfortunately that's something you'll have to miss out on. An alternative could be the use of like some flower pots or something. It could also be used on top there to kind of help represent those gun positions. Anyways though, after that is all done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a stone stair that's going to sit on top of this block here, and we're going to go ahead and then place down 2 birchwood fence gates that are going and kind of end up to this stair. We then want to place down another stone block and another stone upside down stair, followed by a birchwood sign on both sides here of this stair. Once that's all done, we're going to place down gray carpet on the sides here. And again, if you're on Java, we'll place down an item frame underneath here and a light gray stainless pane in those item frames. Right here, you can also choose, if you're not on Java and can't place the item frame down, to just place down the gray carpet and delete the birchwood sign. That's something up to you guys and something you have to figure out for yourself on what you want to do for that. Anyways though, with that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and place down another andesite wall and then a stone full block, followed by a second stone full block. We're going to place down a wall to both sides of this first block, and then a stone block going back from those walls. We also want to go and place down a gray carpet here to both sides of this wall. After that is all done, we want to go ahead and then place down a deep slate tile block, a second block, and then 2 stone blocks here to the sides. We're going to go ahead and also place down polished black stone buttons on the side of these 3 blocks. So just like that. And then we want to place down 2 rows of 3 of the deep slate tile blocks. And then we're going to place down another upside down 2 stone stairs on the sides of those blocks. Then we're going to go ahead and place down 2 rows of 3 of stone. So 2 rows of 3 of stone. Actually, this first one here, we're going to go ahead and put a polished deep slate tile block here, and then a stone block to both sides, and then this is going to be a row of 3 here. And then we want to place down polished black stone buttons on the side of these blocks. Once that's done, we're going to place down another stone brick block going on top of here, a birchwood sign to both sides of this block, and then a top slab going forward from those blocks, and then 2 top slabs going back. So it'll look something like that there for your catapults. Then we want to place down another row of 3 of stone, full blocks across, and then a second row of 3. And then 1 stone block, and then we're going to place down a row of 2 glass panes coming off that stone block, and then 2 glass panes along the side here, these stone blocks here as well. Then once we get to this section here, we're going to place down a birchwood fence gate, open this toward the rear of the ship, and we then want to go ahead and grab a iron bar, or an iron trapdoor rather. We're going to place down an iron trapdoor, and we're also going to go ahead and place down a stone brick wall here, and then another iron trapdoor, and then 1, 2, 3 stone full blocks back. Now on the sides here of this area, it's kind of a bit of a weird area here. We have a lot going on, but we're going to place down 2 gray carpets in these sections here. A birchwood fence gate come off this wall, and we're going to open it up toward the wall like that. Underneath those item frames, or underneath those fence gates, again, if you are on Java, we can place the item frames and our gray stained glass panes in the item frames to help keep that deck color. Then we want to go ahead and place down a birchwood fence post that's going to be on top of this light gray stained glass pane. We're also going to go ahead and place down a wither skeleton skull here and a chain coming off the wither skeleton skull, as well as another wither skeleton skull on this glass pane, and a chain coming off of it as well. We'll also place down 1 and 2 gray carpets here, 1 and 2 right here. And then we're going to place down 2 iron trapdoors on the side of these stone blocks if you're on Java. And we'll use our debug stick here, left click these to get selected open false. And then we'll right click these and set these along the side there of those blocks. So pretty simple there. And also again, if you're on Java, on top of these end rods, we're going to go and place down blocks that kind of come off and out to the side. We're going to place down levers. And just like we did before, we're going to left click these selected face. Going to set these to floor. And left click these again until we get selected facing and rotate these around so they point toward the iron trapdoors. So just something there you'll have to basically mess with, and you can also obviously change if you're on a different version. And of course over here on this side we're going to go ahead and replicate the same thing for our secondary guns. So we have our wither skeleton skulls and our chains coming off them like that. That is going to complete that, and for the top of the turrets here we're just going to place down 2 gray carpets on top of that to finish that off. With that all done though, that's going to wrap up everything we have for layer number 4 of the build. Here again is a top-down view of what it should look like so far. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 5. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 5. For layer 5 to start with, we're going to place down a gray carpet on top of this block here. And then we're going to place down a item frame if you're on Java behind it, and a gray stained glass pane in the item frame, again only if you're on Java. And then a birchwood fence gate on top of this block, and we're going to open that up toward the rear of the ship. We're going to place down a second fence gate and open it up toward the back as well, followed by your stone stair, a stone full block, and a stone upside down stair right behind it. We're going to place down a birchwood sign on both sides of this stone stair. Again, if you're not on Java, I'd recommend probably just placing down gray carpets on top of these blocks instead of those signs. But for Java, we're going to place down the item frames and then gray stained glass panes in those item frames. And then gray carpet to both sides of the stone block. Once that's all done, we're going to go ahead and then place down redstone repeater that's going to be set up like this to both sides, and then there's going to be an andesite wall that's going to be in the center like this. We're going to place down a stone block back, a light gray stained glass pane, make sure it's light gray and not normal gray, to both sides, then another stone block, and then we're going to go and grab ourselves a birchwood fence post and place down a birchwood fence post to both sides like that. We then want to go ahead and place down a iron trapdoor in the center here, and we're going to go and then place down a blast furnace like this to both sides. Also on top of these stone stairs, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves some levers. We're going to place down some levers like this and item frames underneath the levers for a little bit of extra detail if you're on Java. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and place down a stone block right here, and then we'll take our gray carpet and place down a gray carpet to both sides of that stone block. Continuing on, we're going to take our rails and we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 rails back, 1, 2, 3, 4. On top of these stone brick top slabs and full blocks and all that. Then we want to place down a cobweb here in the center, gray carpet to both sides. We're going to place down 2 stone blocks back down the center here, a birchwood fence post to both sides of this first block, and a birchwood fence gate going back from it, which is going to be opened up to connect to the sides of this stone block like that. We'll grab our wither skeleton skulls and our chains, and we're going to place down a wither skeleton skull here and here. And of course our chains coming off it for our secondary gun batteries. Same thing over here on this side as well. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then place down an iron trapdoor that's going to go on top of this fence post. And taking our birchwood signs, we're going to go ahead and wrap our birchwood signs around these 3 sides of this iron trapdoor. So just like this. Have those wrapped around like that. Then we want to go ahead and take our gray carpet. We're going to place down 1, 2 gray carpet, another stone block, and then 2 more gray carpet, a stone brick wall, and then we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves another redstone repeater and just place down a redstone repeater with the notches spread apart. Once you have that all done though, that's going to wrap up what we have there for that, and we'll place down a skeleton skull on top of these fence gates like that to both sides. And so once that's all done, that's going to wrap up everything we have there for layer number 5 of the build. Here again is a top-down view, and as you can see, you're really starting to get a lot of the detail and a lot of the structure is really starting to come together. So with that, we'll move on to our next layer, which will be layer number 6. Moving into our next layer, we move on to layer number 6. For layer 6 to go ahead and get started with, we're going to take our gray carpet and just place it on top of these 2 blocks here for our first turret. We're going to go ahead and place down a stone upside down stair on top of this wall, as well as a skeleton skull to both sides of that stair. Behind that stair, we're going to place down 2 stone full blocks. And then to the sides right here above the glass panes, we're going to place down a stone brick wall to both sides and then a stone stair. Coming off the stone stair, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves an item frame and also a snowball. And we're going to be making the spotlights here. So we're going to place down an item frame and a snowball in the item frame coming off the stair. After that's all done, we're going to go and take our skeleton skulls. We're going to place down a row of 3 across and another stone block here in the center. Also, from the previous layers, I did forget to include some things in the center here. So for this, we're going to place down a grindstone here and then a chain going up. And if you're on Java, we're going to be using barrier blocks. Now, barrier blocks can be obtained by typing the command /give @p Minecraft : and we'll just type in barrier right there. That's the command. So /give @p space Minecraft : barrier. Press enter will give you this basically block here. Now, they're known on Bedrock as structure void blocks. How you obtain them, I'm not exactly sure, so you would have to figure that out for yourself on that one. But you're going to be using basically an invisible block right up into this that chain there that we can place down a stone button on the sides of. So we're just going to place down a stone button on these 2 sides. So really simple and straightforward there. Then we're going to place down a stone block on top of this one, another birchwood fence gate, which we're going to open up toward the front. And on the sides of the fence gates, we're going to place down birchwood signs and just kind of wrap this around that fence gate like so. After that's all done, we want to go ahead and then place down a skeleton skull that's going to come off these signs, just like that. And we're also going to place down a dark oak wood trapdoor right here and then a birchwood sign coming off that trapdoor. We're going to go ahead and also place down a skeleton skull on top of these fence gates and kind of have them turned out to the sides there, like that. After that's all done, we want to go ahead and then place down a stone brick wall that's going to go on top of this stone block, and then we're going to place down a flower pot on top of it just to finish it off so we don't have to come back and deal with it. Then on the very back, we're going to place down a stone stair. This can be followed with a birchwood sign coming off the front of the stair. And again, if you're on Java, we'll be going ahead and using our debug stick, so go ahead and get that ready if you have it. And we're going to go ahead and place down a block here to the side of the stone stairs, so leaving a space of 1. We're going to place down a tripwire hook on the side of these blocks, and then use our debug stick here, left click this till we get selected facing, rotate these around to connect up to the sides of the stair like that, and that's all you need to do for that stair there. So pretty simple stuff. With that though, that's going to pretty much wrap up everything we have there for layer number 6 of the build, and with that we'll probably just go ahead and jump into our last final layers and finish off the rest of the build. So with that, let's move on to our last final layers. Moving into our final layers, we have layers 7 through 13. So we do have quite a bit to do here, but really it's just doing the top of the mast and stuff like that, superstructure, so it's going to go by pretty quick. To begin with though, we're going to place down a dark oak wood trapdoor on the top of this stair here, and then we're going to place down a birchwood sign that's going to come off the front here of that stair. We then want to go ahead and place down a skeleton skull that's going to sit at about a 45-degree angle to both sides like that, and then 2 skeleton skulls going back along the side on the top of the wall and the stairs like that. We're going to place down another stone brick wall here in the center, and we're going to go ahead and also place down a birchwood fence gate right here and open it up toward the back. We'll place a birchwood sign on the side of the fence gate as well, and that's going to basically create that section there. Then we want to go ahead and go up from this with a stone stair. We're going to place down a birchwood sign on the front of it, and just like we did before for the rear section, we're going to be going ahead and taking a block out to the sides here, and we're going to be going ahead and grabbing ourselves a tripwire hook. And again, using our debug stick here to go ahead and move the tripwire hooks to come off the side of the stair. So just like that. Then we're going to place down another stone block back and then a skeleton skull to both sides. We're also going to place down a lever that's going to come off this block here on the very back. Once that's all done, we want to go ahead and then place down a smoker on top of this block here, and then a light gray stainless pane to the sides of the smoker just like that. And then we're going to place down another birchwood fence gate on the back here of the smoker, and we're going to open it up toward it, so it's going to look like that there. Then we just want to place down a stone brick wall up on top here, and on that stone brick wall on top, we're going to place down a flower pot. We're also going to go and take our end rods. We're going to build 2 end rods up, so 1, 2, and then 1 out to the sides of this top one. And then we want to go ahead and go off of this iron bar, or this end rod, leave a space of 1. We're going to place down a lever like this on the side of that block and rotate it like that again with your debug stick to connect up like so. You can also use a fence gate for an alternative, so you can place down a fence gate right there like that and open it up for my non-Java players. And then we're going to place down another end rod that goes up and a flower pot like so, and that's going to wrap that up there. We then want to go ahead and grab ourselves some barrier blocks, and also some skeleton skulls. We're going to place down a skeleton skull on the side here of this fence gate, as well as we're going to go ahead and take our barrier blocks, and we're going to place down a barrier block between the skulls and these end rods, and we're going to go ahead and then place down 2 barrier blocks that go down from the skeleton skulls. Now on the side of these barrier blocks, we're going to place down 2 stone buttons like this, 2 stone buttons, and then 1. Same thing over here, 1 stone button, then we have 2, and 2 like that. So it's going to create some of the rigging there for the superstructure. We're going to go ahead and place down a stone block on top of this one here, and then a polished black stone stair on top of it for your first funnel. Then we're going to go ahead and go to the back section of the ship here. We're going to place down a grindstone that's going to sit on top of this fence gate, and then a stone block behind it. On top of that stone block, we're going to place down a polished black stone slab, as well as we're going to go ahead and place down a temporary block coming off the sides of this full block, and we're going to place down a skeleton skull coming off the side of that block, and then delete those blocks like that. Coming off the grindstone, we're going to place down a fence gate, open it up like so. Another fence gate up, this time open up toward the front, and then a block on top of this fence gate. And we're going to place down a skeleton skull coming off the side of the block, and then delete that block. Then going down from the skeleton skull, we're just going to place down 2 chains, just like so. With that all done, we're going to go ahead and then grab our fence gates. We're going to place down a fence gate on top of this grindstone, open it up toward the front, and then a second fence gate up, again opened up toward the front. We'll also place down a skeleton skull on the sides of this birchwood fence gate, so it will look like that. Then up on top here, we want to go ahead and place down a stone upside down stair. That's going to sit on the top. We'll go ahead and also place down a iron trapdoor, then 2 end rods that go up like this, and then we're going to place down a iron bar on top there. We're also going to go ahead and place down a row of 3 of iron bars, and then a second row of 3 like this for the radar on the back here of the ship. And taking our end rods, we're going to go ahead and build 2 end rods out to the sides there, just like that, to go ahead and finish it off for the ship. And lastly, the thing we need to do here is to go ahead and do some of the rigging here for the ship. So for this, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and place down 2 barrier blocks coming off the side of this fence gate here for the rear mass. And we're going to place down buttons here on the forward sides of those blocks like that. Then taking our barrier blocks again, we're going to place down a barrier block that goes back from these ones here, button on the side of those. Then we're going to go and drop down from those, again a barrier block to both sides, and we're going to have buttons on these 2 sides here. Then again, we're going to drop down for another barrier block that's going to be positioned like this. So it's going to kind of drop down and go forward once on top of those skeleton skulls. We're going to place down a button on the side and on these 2 sides here. So just like that, to go ahead and finish it off there for that rigging. And then between our mass in this section here, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 barrier blocks coming off this end rod. So 1, 2, and then we want to go and go up, and we're going to go and go 1, 2, 3. So again, over here we have 1, 2, and then go up, 1, 2, 3. And for the buttons, we're going to place down 2 buttons, 1, 2 on the side, 1 on the top here, and then 2 on the side. Same thing over here, 2 on the side of this one, 1 on the bottom, and 2 on the side. And then lastly, for this section here, we're going to place down another barrier block going up from this, a stone button to both sides. We're going to go and then go up and out to the sides with our barrier blocks. And we're going to go and then place down a button on the side of these ones. And then we just want to go up 1 and 2 more, and again place down buttons on the side of these barrier blocks. And same thing will be done over here on this side, like that, going all the way up, and it'll connect up to the rigging there up on top. Anyways, though, that is going to wrap up everything we have for that, and that's going to complete layers 7 through 13 of the build. And with that, complete my tutorial here for the USS Indianapolis CA-35. Hope you guys do enjoy this tutorial and are able to put it to good use. If you do end up using this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This can be anything from the side of the build to link to my channel, or this video if it does appear on social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for it, you're free to use it for projects you guys are working on. With that though, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Garrett 2x4, and I'll see you guys next time.